Hey guys, welcome back to the Subconscious CEO podcast. I am Jackie Adams, an integrative hypnotist and business coach, helping you to get seen, heard, and paid by maximizing the power of your subconscious mind. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's been a little while since I have done a podcast episode. And what's funny and ironic is my last podcast episode was all about how this is going to be my year of yes, and I'm just going to go for it. And then I kind of left you high and dry. And that was not intentional. But what you should know is in the last month or so, since I have last recorded and put out a podcast episode, I have actually been working very hard on some pretty big stuff in my own life, preparing for these 3 events that I am speaking at, talking with mentors, all sorts of amazing things coming my way. I've also been just seeing clients on Zoom and helping people to work through things. One of my favorite things that I do with clients and I have done recently is just having a quick call with them and about whatever their goal is, whatever they're trying to heal or fear, they're trying to release or habit they're trying to either start or eliminate. And I actually just take some information from them. And then in my own time, I record a session that they can listen to later on and just have them listen to it once or twice or even 3 times if they want on their own time, especially like right before bedtime or first thing in the morning, as I have told all of you, is the best time to program your subconscious mind with affirmations or prayer, meditation, or hypnosis, self hypnosis, because that is the time when your brain waves are in that theta state, that those theta waves where you are the most connected to God, universe, source, your heart, however that you believe. Those theta waves are scientifically proven that you are in a state of being more of a sponge, more susceptible to that around you. So it is the best time for you to absorb those really positive messages that help you for your future and your present and to feel at peace, to feel whatever emotion or feeling that you want to feel. So that is my favorite thing that I do right now. If you're interested in something like that for yourself, please send me an email, contact me on my website, DM me on Instagram. All my information is going to be in the show notes here. But yeah, I've just been really busy with all of that. And especially because my first speaking engagement for the year is next Thursday. So that is March 21st. And some of you may be listening to this after the 21st. So if so, you missed it. Sorry, unless you can actually, I think for a week, they're going to have the recorded sessions available. But the Women Thrive Summit is where I am going to be speaking and teaching you all about mind magic, which is essentially self hypnosis. And this is something that I teach all my clients because I really don't think it's a great goal for a healer, hypnotist, therapist, whatever, to get their clients totally dependent on them, because then it's like you need this crutch all the time or you're going to a therapist for years and years and years when really, like, I want to give you the tools. Yes, I want to help you. But I also want you to know how to use these tools yourself, because at the end of the day, we are all so much more capable than we even know we are to heal ourselves. Once we take responsibility for the problem, identify it, there's always going to be a way. And it's my honor to be able to guide so many people to healing certain habits, patterns, fears, goals for themselves. However, self hypnosis is just such an incredible tool. So I would love to see you there. It is free when you attend live, and my session is going to be Thursday, March 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And there are speakers from this Women Thrive Summit all around the world. So the time changes are uh, all over the place. But yeah, there's, I think, 52 speakers, um, literally from almost not every country, but it's mostly English speaking countries, Australia, everywhere in Europe, United States, Canada. It's pretty incredible. So, with that said, I would love to get into our episode today. Oh, and I will say, I will link the information for the Women Thrive Summit on this episode on the show notes. So now, without further ado, I would love to talk about our topic today, which is how to start before you're ready. And I really struggled with this title, to be honest, because I feel like start before you're ready is such a, I don't know if it's a cliche or if it's just something that I've always heard a lot and been like, okay, yeah, start before you're ready. But what does that really mean? The concept is really just taking action despite feeling unprepared or uncertain. Because if you ever wait to do something or achieve a goal or take that first step until you feel ready for it, it will literally never happen. I'm sure those of us who have had children before they were quote unquote ready, before they ticked all their boxes, understand that while it's very scary to have a child before you think you're ready, it does somehow work out in a beautiful way and how you never could have imagined it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Did you learn and grow from it, the experience? Yes. I think I don't think I've heard anyone say anything contrary to that, honestly. But really, the mission of this episode is to just inspire you to embrace the imperfection of yourself and the circumstances around you and just take some bold steps towards your goals because you are worth it. And there are a few different concepts, I will say, to highlight and demonstrate what it means to start before you're ready. First of all, there is that embracing imperfection, which I just mentioned. And really, you are never going to find a perfect time to start pursuing your dreams or goals. That's really what it is. There will always be some type of roadblock or obstacle or challenge in your life right now or in the future. There will always be an excuse. And this is where it is so important to utilize the power of programming your subconscious mind and center your energy centers in order to allow yourself to push past those barriers and keep going. What do I mean by that? There are two parts to our mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. You probably have already heard this. The conscious mind is what we consciously think about, our thoughts, what decisions we make on a daily basis. What's interesting is that our subconscious mind makes up 95% of our brain activity and our minds in general. So that leaves only 5% of our minds are conscious thoughts and things that we think are controlling our actions, when really 95% of the activity going on in our minds is driven by our subconscious programmings, things that happened to us when we were kids, extreme emotional events and traumas from younger that help us make all our decisions and trigger us into having different reactions. All the micro decisions that we make every single day, how we brush our teeth, how we show up in this world, and more importantly, what stops us from becoming uncomfortably visible to the world. What stops us from taking a step that might allow us to feel some embarrassment or shame or guilt. Those aren't even real things, real tangible things, but they're feelings. They're real feelings that we do get. And the experience of them is so real in our minds. However, what's the difference between showing up for 5 minutes because you're excited to show the world about a product that you've created, and then you stop because you think, oh gosh, Becky from high school might judge me, or I just don't, who am I to do this? All those intrusive thoughts come into play and make us stop because our brains want to keep us safe. However, there are no lions and bears when it comes to sharing something that you care about, that you can help the world with, a gift that you have that can change lives, or something that you can create. financial abundance with. And what's the difference between that and then someone who says, you know what, I'm going to go for this. I am going to put it out there that I'm starting a business and I have this for sale, and you just build upon it every single day. You take action. That next action becomes like a snowball into the next action, and you just become bigger and bigger, and you embrace the attention you're getting. You embrace the amount of money that's coming into you. You embrace all the incredible abundance that's coming into your life. Like, what is the difference between those two scenarios? It's really you coming up against these roadblocks that are mental, emotional, spiritual, inside your mind that are stopping you, blocking you from continuing to take these steps that continue to grow and expand you, and that are able to allow your vision to keep getting bigger and bigger and for you to make more of an impact. It's crazy. Our brains want to keep us safe, but it's not about you. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm guessing that you want to create something bigger in your life. You understand that this world is not centered around you. You probably want to help create and spur change for others around you. You want to be a vessel of good. And if that's true, then embracing that perfectionism is so incredibly important. Laugh at yourself, make fun of yourself. Something silly happens, or if one of those thoughts comes into your mind that tries to stop you, keep you safe, laugh it off. Embrace the imperfect actions. Mess up, learn from your mistakes. My gosh, do you even understand how much I have messed up, how much I've embarrassed myself, how many times I've stopped and started? I could be so much more successful than I am right now if I would have just continued on and taken the imperfect, messy actions over and over and over again from the time I wanted to be an entrepreneur, probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I didn't, though. I allowed those intrusive thoughts to invade me and stop me. And then I ended up taking breaks 6 months to a year because things were happening in my life and I felt so overwhelmed. And then by the time I was ready to come back to entrepreneurship, I wanted I had different goals. And so I had to kind of pivot and restart. And there are so many people that I've watched get a lot of success. And those are the people who stay consistent, push past their own boundaries, continue to take the imperfect and messy action despite what might turn out, because they've allowed the outcome of that, whether it be good or bad, to not determine that they're going to stop or keep going. Waiting for the right moment may lead to missed opportunities. So it's not about making the right decision. I cringe when people say, I just don't know if this is going to be the right decision. Because if you just make the decision the right way, then you can't ever go back and think about what could have been. What could have been is irrelevant. What is now is what you are working with. But if you are constantly thinking about the past or the future, then you're not going to be able to focus what really matters on, which is the present, because this moment is all you have right now. The past and the future, yes, they are important. They do define who you are and who you're becoming. But if you don't focus your energy and intention into this present moment, then you're not going to be able to create a compilation of present moments where you are living at your highest self and able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Messy action or uncertainty from the actions that you take is so incredibly important, because not only does it lead to potentially the outcome that you desire, such as success in your business and your life, but it will always lead to growth and progress. Even if there are setbacks, you learn from those setbacks. There's no such thing as a mistake unless you don't pull the lesson out of that mistake. So it's just incredibly important to learn through your trial and error and embrace the mindset of experimentation with consistency, consistent action. Whatever that action is, take consistent action. The next thing I want to talk about is laughing at yourself because holy smokes, if I just think about everything that I've done, every way that I've messed up, and look back at everything that did not go my way with the lens of disappointing myself, oh man, that would be tough. You have to laugh at yourself because you can't go back. There's no point in ruminating on the past. It's so incredibly important to be resilient, and humor can help with that. You can frame literally any story about your past, about a situation, in a way that puts it in a positive light. Isn't it funny how some people can experience the same exact event being side by side, and yet their story about that event will be so different? For instance, even just taking kids to the swimming pool, right? You go to the pool is the same for the kids, the water's the same temperature, and one kid will go in and they will have the most fun, entertain themselves, absolutely just laugh and kick and swim and have the best time. The other kid will sit on the sidelines and just say, "This is so boring. I hate this. There's nothing to do here." And what's interesting is they have completely different mindsets going, and they both have the ability to have fun, to use their imagination, to utilize this body of water for good. Or they could choose to be sour about it and say that there's nothing to do because it's just a body of water. Their perspective is very different. Their story about it is very different. And yet they experienced being in the exact same room with the same group of people. Speaking of kids, my biggest goal as a mother is for my children to be resilient. I think resilience is the most important trait, one of the most important traits in a human being. And that's really because I'm not going to be there with my kids every single day of their entire lives. So I want to make sure that the imminent roadblocks, setbacks, challenges, gaps, all of the things that are going to come their way, that they are able to get through that with as positive of an attitude as possible, learn from their mistakes, learn from the challenges, become resilient so that they can become better people because of these challenges. That's how we learn. So, having a lighthearted approach to all of your endeavors and laughing at your mistakes along the way is just so incredibly important to maintain the perspective of finding joy in the process of your growth, of your entrepreneurship or advancement in your career, or just self improvement overall. The next thing that is really important in this process is to embrace the growth and impact. Taking action before you really feel ready allows you to share your gifts, your unique talents that only you have. There's only one you, and you get to share that with as much of the world as you want. And there is so much transformation in that. There is so much reward in that. There is so much good that can be set in motion because of what you can do. And when you allow yourself to have that growth and impact, you don't even know how far that can go. What if you performed a random act of kindness today by sharing with someone that you meet in Starbucks that, wow, you are absolutely stunningly beautiful. What if that one compliment is something that they needed to hear because they were having a really bad day and were getting really down on themselves, and it encouraged them to then compliment someone else and make that person's day? You just have no idea the butterfly effect that you can put into motion by intentionally being positively impactful. And we all have such unique gifts, talents, and interests and passion that If you just started before you were ready, what could you possibly do with that? How much change in this world could you have on others? I just want you to recognize your unique talent and the importance of sharing it with the world. I'm sitting here making a podcast while I also have another job. I am a nurse. I also have 4 kids at home. I also have a house that needs attention. I also have dogs that need attention, and I will make sure to give my attention to all of those things. However, this ability that I have fostered, which is becoming a hypnotist and becoming a Reiki practitioner and becoming a breathwork facilitator, becoming a coach, all of these certifications I've got, all of the practice that I've had with my clients, and all of the business experience that I have acquired over the past several years has allowed me to integrate all of these into something very special. And who am I to be sitting here on a podcast? I'm nobody special. I'm just somebody who has had these interests and passions and that's worked very hard to basically override these subconscious doubts in my mind that who am I to do it? You shouldn't be doing this. Your attention should be somewhere else. Guilt, shame, fear of the unknown, ridicule, a lot of fear-based emotions. What I've done is I've learned that emotions are a spectrum. There is a love end of the spectrum, there's a fear end of the spectrum. Every emotion we have is somewhere along that spectrum. So, whenever I'm feeling a fear-based emotion, I go back to my practices and I consciously program my subconscious or tell myself, command myself to move into a love based emotion, a positive emotion, because I know and I've seen through evidence, through feedback, that not just my gifts and talents, but what I have also practiced and really become, I guess, just extremely passionate about, it matters. It makes a difference. So I make the time for it. And even if I go 5 or 6 weeks without, putting out a podcast episode, which I can get really hard on myself about as well, I know that I just need to keep going up against those roadblocks and just say, "Hey guys, I'm taking accountability that I haven't been here like I said I wanted to. However, I've also been making progress, even if it's slow." And that's why it's so important for you to really truly just embrace that amount of growth and impact that you can and will have on this world. And the last thing I want to talk about is something that, oh my gosh, up until now, I have been so guilty of, and that is overcoming perfectionism. Oh my gosh. So I am firstborn, Virgo, and kind of an only child. I do have 4 siblings, however, I wasn't really like they're half siblings and I wasn't raised in the context of like having a full sibling with me all the time. I was usually it was just me and my mom. So I was raised to be very independent, raised around adults. The Virgo traits in me are strong and I can be a little, I don't want to say controlling because that is something I have really worked on. I do feel like those controlling aspects of me in terms of not controlling people, but controlling situations around me. That's been something that's been difficult to deal with. And when you're a perfectionist, you often stop yourself from putting out there in the world things that you don't feel like are exactly what you want them to be, that are not exactly perfect. Just take the action, you guys, because when I can take these imperfect actions and laugh at myself when I mess up, like yesterday when I made this amazing post on social media and I had this like terrible, terrible spelling mistake. And I was just like, I can't change it now without deleting it and then deleting all these comments. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. It's just going to stay there. People know what I mean. It's okay. We all make mistakes. Overcoming that perfectionism, the only way to do that is to do it, to take the action. When you start before you feel really ready and you push past your comfort zone, that imperfect action is better than no action. And that growth occurs outside of our comfort zones. If you just stayed comfortable your whole life, sorry, you're not growing. You're not helping many people. You're certainly not helping yourself. So, in conclusion, take the action. What is it that you're passionate about? What is your goal? Embrace the imperfection, take the messy action, laugh at yourself, embrace your growth and impact, and overcome the perfectionism inside yourself. I am so excited for you, honestly. If you made it this far, I thank you, applaud you, and I really appreciate you. Please, if you could just reach out to me and tell me, how is it that you're going to embrace these new actions and start before you're ready? I'll keep you accountable. I might not email you every single day, but I will congratulate you and ask you what your first step is. I would love that. And if you are interested in having me record a session for you where we can just get on a call for 5 minutes to tell me what's going on, what you need help with, you can email me with a scenario about what it is that you're trying to overcome. I'd be happy to record a session for you that you can listen to on your own time. So reach out, email, message me on Instagram, send me a contact, fill out my contact form on my website, and I'd be happy to help you with that. And if you can attend the Women Thrive Summit on the 21st, that would be incredible. I'd love to see you there. This is a tool, the self-hypnosis, what I go into in depth is something that I really only share with my clients who pay me. So to have that opportunity to get like a full training workshop style from me is pretty awesome. So thank you so much. Please rate and review 5 stars if you feel like you got benefit from this podcast. And I appreciate you and hope you have an amazing, amazing day and week. Bye.